Poor old Malcolm Turnbull. Today he rocked up to the University of Sydney. I presume he'd get a hero's welcome. He's a woke, he set up The Guardian, this great woke leader of ours. But the students wouldn't have a bar of it. Have a look.
He runs away. You are a swine.
Our friends that come in with the loudspeakers indicate how little respect they have for any of you.
Well, it seems if you shut out all the Conservative speakers from your university and bring in people, well, the lefties will still protest the event because you can never be woke enough for the ultra-woke. I must say, first up, I deplore what occurred, and as far as I'm concerned, everybody should be able to listen to Malcolm Turnbull as often as they want to. That's what free speech is all about, and if you listen to Malcolm Turnbull often enough, well, you might eventually hear something worth listening to. Ian Plimer, what did you make of Malcolm Turnbull being shut out of Sydney Uni?
Well, I think he shows his normal lack of judgment. Why on earth would you go into Sydney University to try to talk to people? Forget it. You might as well go to a posh restaurant for lunch or go down the pub. But why go into Alliance then? No matter what you say, you're going to be shouted down. So I think it shows an appalling lack of judgment on Turnbull's part.
Who'd have thought, Catherine, dear, lack of judgment from Malcolm Turnbull? Catherine, you've had your fair share of being cancelled, being shouted at, pushed downstairs. You had a broken arm, and you were mobbed. What did you make of today?
Well, I've been in the situation at University of Sydney when Women's Declaration International was launched, and we were attacked by our women's collective, and the police had to remove them. So I know how Malcolm feels, but this is what happens when we have a generation of children who are raised to believe that if they're presented with a dissenting opinion, something they don't agree with, it is actual violence, and they don't want to hear it. I mean, university is a place we prosecute dangerous ideas, and clearly these children missed the memo.
James, Catherine makes a great point there, that if you teach kids that ideas and words are so dangerous and painful that you just can't possibly hear them, you need a safe space, you need trigger warnings, this is the end result.
Absolutely. When you see people turn up with a loud hailer, you know they don't have an intellectual argument. And what I felt interesting was the 100 students or so sitting there.
Law students, by the way, it was a law society.
Exactly, which doesn't bode well for the future. So the Student Representative Council were not only bullying Malcolm Turnbull, they were bullying their own peers by denying them the opportunity to listen to Malcolm Turnbull.
And Ian, I'm sure you're no stranger to having had the odd confrontation with students who might not necessarily want to hear your every opinion on everything. How should Turnbull have reacted? Should he have stayed? He walked out. Should he have stayed?
I've been banned from speaking at a couple of universities because apparently I'm seditious and have different views. I don't think he should have walked out. I think he should have argued, as Catherine mentioned, that we should be fostering the art of critical thinking, of analytical thinking, of actually not using opinions but using facts. And I think it was a wonderful opportunity presented to Turnbull to say, look, I don't have opinions, I have facts. These are the facts. And we are now suffering from 50 years of dumbing down our education system. And we see it in these students who are incapable of absorbing a different idea, who are incapable of accepting that someone might think differently. Now, in my days at university, and mind you, that was back in the geological past, it was exciting to be with a group of people who actually had a different view. And we would argue, and we would argue passionately. We wouldn't shout people down, we wouldn't punch people up, we'd probably even have a drink together. And we have lost that ability to argue, to deal with people who have a great difference to us.
James?
Yeah, I think the question, should Turnbull have stayed or should he have gone, is the wrong question. The question is, what are the university doing? They invite a former Prime Minister onto the campus to speak. It shouldn't be Malcolm Turnbull's decision, do I stay or do I go? Where are the leaders of the university honouring a guest that's been invited and teaching students how to behave?
Catherine?
Oh, I agree entirely. I mean, whatever we think of Turnbull, he is a former Prime Minister, and the fact that he was hounded off campus is a really sad indictment on the Student Representative Council and the fact that they simply cannot tolerate dissent.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think Malcolm Turnbull should be allowed to speak as often as he wants to, wherever he wants to. Malcolm, you can come on the show anytime you like. You can join the panel. We'll fire up and we'll have a great time.